Okay, what we're actually going to do today is install an isolated wire harness to the back of a 2010 Spyder RT. So this is the wiring harness that we're going to be putting on today. Oops. It's a show chrome accessory. It's by bigbikeparts.com, and it's this says trailer wiring harness electronics isolated for Can-Am Spyder RT 2010 to 14, and if you need the part number, it's 41162. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to open our trunk lid, and we need to remove this screw, this screw, this screw, and this one. And these would be, for those 4 screws, would be using a T27 Torx driver. We need to remove those 4 screws holding the top of the rear painted panel. Now for the wrench, you can use, I bought this dandy little gadget here for like $3.99 or something at Harbor Freight. So, and it's a ratchet, so it comes in handy. It's small for tight little places, or you can just use a regular Torx screwdriver. I got both, but luckily I found this one. Presently, I just bought a whole pack about 3 weeks ago, and I can't find the whole pack, so we will look for that, but in the meantime I can take it apart with these. Now they got these on here tight, that's for sure. Always afraid of stripping or breaking something with plastic. And you can see is if I use this, pretty handy. Now, all 4 of these screws seem to be the same height, so those we don't have to keep separated because they are pretty much the same length. Now the next thing we got to do is open the left rear luggage compartment, and according to the instructions, open the left saddlebag lid. Using the T30 Torx driver, we need to remove the 2 screws from the top of the rear, which would be this one and this one. Now, according to the instructions, these 2 screws here are T30, and the ones I used to remove the top screws up here, I was using the screwdriver and the little ratchet. Well, they fit on the same ones that go in here, so they evidently are the same size. Now, these 2 bolts that come out here are the same size, so those we don't have to keep separate. Now what you need to do is these 2 bolts that came out here, I forgot to tell you, was we need to do that on the other side too. Just repeat what we just did for this side here. Okay, we're going to make sure you're on here. Now this piece here, it's a doozy to get out. It's tight, but I just noticed There's another busted clip on here, and that makes 2 clips I found on this bike that are busted, and hopefully I didn't bust it when I took it apart, but I got that side off, and there's the other one. So luckily those aren't broke anymore. Now I guess these 2 clips that you can see here and here go down into here, so when you put it back on, make sure you get those down in there. Okay, the next thing we got to do is remove this gas shock here. So you can just stick a screwdriver and pull back and it'll come right off. Now there's 2 screws here that have to come out. And the same on the other side. These 2 here. And then there are 3 screws here. Right there. 1 here. And 1 here. And then you can drop this fender down and let it lean against the tire. Now these 2 screws I took out of here, they're same length as the ones I took out of here. So I'm just putting, and they're the same Torx size too, so I'm just putting them down here inside the saddlebag so I don't lose them. Now these screws that I took out of these 3 right here, you want to set them someplace different because these are about half the length, if not more, than the rest of the screws we've taken out. And then you can drop it down. You just let it lay there. You don't have to take it off. Okay, what we need to do now is there's a screw here, and a screw here that holds the tail light on. Take those out, pull the light out, disconnect the pin connector, and set the light off to the side. You need to do that with both sides. Actually, the instructions, that's right, there's 3. Here, here, here. The cable here, and now we got all that stuff off. What you need to do here under the left tail light, they want you to clean this area right here with what am I trying to say, rubbing alcohol real well. Let it dry, and then you'll take the 3M tape on the back of this and you will stick it down here. Actually, you'll find out the wires on the harness, the green and the red, they want you to fish up through the opening by the left hand rest. So you really have to take a screw back here that goes right here, and this screw here, and lift this up to get this piece out, and then you have access to in here, and the battery, which is the negative contact, is here, and the positive contact is right here. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room to mess around in there. Go ahead and stick on your tape here on the back. Pull off the cover, hiding the tape, and stick it on the inner part of the fender on the left inside of the saddlebag behind the light. And then take your green and your red and fish up through here underneath your passenger control panel and bring it out here and just let them lay for right now. And then what you're going to do is take the wire on the harness that has naturally the longest wire, but it's got the blue wire on it, and you connect one end of it into your taillight plug, and then the other end of it is going to go into your tail light, and then you can assemble this tail light back in position. Lights back in, both sides, got the wires hooked up. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this fender back up and install the bolts, and then we're going to go over and put 2 bolts back in the side, each side. Then we're going to reconnect the shock back up to the pivot, and then we're going to put the top piece on that goes on here. And we routed the wire through a little crevice in the fender when it folds up, so we'll just have to tie it off onto the hitch here and put a plug on the end. And we are done, all except for I mended the broken tab on the right side with something I tried. It's called laser bond, and what I did was I took a light switch cover and I busted it in half, and then I used the laser bond to glue it back together, and I let it sit for an hour or so, because you harden it with an ultraviolet light that comes with the kit. And it's only like $10 at Bed Bath & Beyond. And I let it sit for a couple hours, and I went to see how tight it was, and I actually broke the light cover in a different place. So hopefully I'm not going to button the last screw on this up until I give it maybe an hour or so to dry, and then I will see what happens. I mean, I'm good to go anyway. If it's broke, it's broke. So anyway, hope this video helped you. All I got left to do now is I've got to figure out what color goes to what pin on a plug, and then get a plug-in wired up, and then maybe cut some of this off, or something. Maybe I'll wrap it around. But anyway, I hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching again.